All right. For people that watch the stream with some regularity on YouTube, live, whatever, all that jazz, you probably know we've taken a bit of a legacy hiatus. I don't know that I'm going to do regular legacy content again, but one of my regulars asked if they could do a $50 donation for this deck. And hey, Brian, thanks for the 14-month resub. Welcome back. I appreciate it. And Zesty, thanks for the 9 months. Thanks for 3/4 of a year. Welcome, folks. Good morning. So I don't know that I'm going to add an entire day for legacy, but on occasion, if people want to put decks that I know I like or especially sweet, you know, like Belcher or Spanish Inquisition or something like this. We played this deck a couple of times and I liked it. I think that would be okay to get one in every once in a while. Hey, Confusion, thanks for the 7 months. Welcome back. Yeah, so basically what this deck is doing is this deck can kill on turn 2 or turn 3. So your turn 2 kill is Inkmoth Nexus activate on 1, and then attack and Blazing Shoal with Progenitus or Searing Wind to kill on 2. Same thing with Blighted Agent on 3, only go Blighted Agent on 2 and to attack on 3. And then the idea is that post board, you pivot into a show and tell Omniscience deck after your opponent boards in a bunch of spot removal against you. So it's this kind of fun bait and switch type thing. So like your show and tells can just like put Progenitus into play, which can kill them, and we can also just like show and tell Omniscience can trip into enter and then enter cast Searing Winds and kill them. Are there any legacy videos of you playing Grixis Control or Blue-Black Death Shadow? We played Blue-Black Shadow shortly after it did well at the Pro Tour, and it was really unimpressive. We hit a bunch of matchups that seemed like they were tough, and we died. Thank you. Yeah, and if you haven't seen us play this deck before, so I used to do legacy content with some regularity. There's 2 or 3 videos of us playing this deck in the past. This deck gets to play all the good legacy cards. We get to play Brainstorm, Ponder Force. It's very consistent. We play Preordain. We even have a 13th 1-mana cantrip that we ended up playing, Sleight of Hand, on top of those. So just a lot of redundancy. I mean, this hand could be anything. Daze Force, cantrips, lands, probably keep. I did not. I was streaming last night while the open was wrapping up. So depending on what the opponent does on one, this hand will probably be a basic island Preordain. For those of you that are not familiar with sequencing cantrips and Legacy, Brainstorm is the type of card you want to cast when you can usually immediately crack a fetch line afterwards. That way you can put cards from your hand that you don't need back on top of your deck and then shuffle them away. Dredge, sure. I think I'm actually supposed to force this. So, Dredge in Legacy, unlike Dredge in Modern, Dredge in Legacy is a more all-in combo style deck, whereas Dredge in Modern tends to be a little bit more grindy. So, there's no guarantee that this, like, stops them from doing their thing, but I think it gives us the best chance for them to not explode. So, since they're playing Dredge, we're going to want to prioritize finding our combo pieces ASAP. So, remember, we're basically a 3-card combo. We need an Infect creature, a Blazing Shoal, and then something to pitch to the Blazing Shoal. I mean, I think there's a lot of people who, like, want the cantrips to be legal in Modern, who just like casting cantrips and, like, they know what the cantrips do, right? Like, I don't think it's a secret, the gameplay that cantrips generate, and some people really like that gameplay, and that's fine with them, but I personally prefer the little bit more varied gameplay. It's okay every once in a while, but it gets a little repetitive after a bit. So I think, like I said, like, a Legacy League, you know, once a week or once every other week's probably fine, but... Just casual, have used 9 seconds off my clock, have been waiting for the opponent to play for 2.5 minutes. Just Magic Online things. Morning, 9 Ball. Happy birthday. Hope you have a good one. Happy Monday. Yay, more cantrips. Cantrip him. Hey, look at that. There's the Blighted Agent I wanted for Christmas. Yeah, just totally top, right? And then next turn, I guess. Oh, this is a good thing to note about cantrips. So because I wanted both of these cards, I should have actually stacked the Ponder on top of my deck and left the Blighted Agent to be drawn the following turn, because next turn, if my opponent Cabal therapies me, they can take my Blighted Agent now, whereas if I would have left the Blighted Agent on top of my deck, it would have been insulated against a discard spell. So I definitely want to keep both of those, because like turn 2 I want to play Blighted Agent, and then turn 3 I can cast 3 cantrips to try and find my combo pieces to kill them, but I definitely sequenced this incorrectly, and I've given my opponent a chance to take away my critical combo piece here. And I could have definitely sequenced in a way to make that not be possible. Look at that. I've now spent 24 seconds, and my opponent has spent over 3 minutes. And this is, whenever I mention people play slowly on Magic Online, people are always like, there's always someone that pipes up, they're like, oh, Jeff, you play Magic Online 40 hours a week. That's not a fair comparison. And it's like, this is the biggest reason people waste so much time on Magic Online. It's not even because they're making decisions or they're fumbling with the interface. They're just like, obviously, actively not paying attention to the game that we're playing. Just like, obviously doing 2 things at once. And apparently don't know how to press the F6 key, which is, that's a Moto thing, to be fair. There's a thing down here in the corner that shows you all the hotkeys and what they do if you don't know them, but I guess a lot of people ignore that for some reason. They fixed the bug that lets you type inside the clock? Probably not. No, it doesn't look like it. It didn't actually used to be this bad. I didn't think you could click in here whenever you wanted and do it, but you definitely can just click and type here. The worst part about playing Blue decks and Legacy on Magic Online is that you can't just randomly F6 because you need to technically represent Force of Will. Yeah, we're gonna get Cabal therapied here and just hate myself for my mistake. There's a good chance we're gonna die on their turn. They could kill us this turn even. Hopefully there's like not an Archivy on the top half of their deck. Sweet. There just literally isn't an Archivy on the top half of their deck. God bless. Better to be lucky than good. There's a good chance we die next turn anyways. Like, this matchup's just a pure race. And the combo in this deck isn't super fast, so as a programmer who's worked with modern development languages, I cannot even fathom how you end up with the end user having the ability to type text into a field that should never allow a user to type text into. We could die this turn. So they get to dredge for their turn. They get to activate this Coliseum and dredge 3 more times. And then if they're playing Flamekin Zealot, which usually Dredge plays Flamekin Zealot in Legacy, so it can be degenerate. They can kill us here. Yep, yeah, match 1, game 1, goalie. Oh, goalie. We can't do Modern this Wednesday because Magic Online has 9 hours of downtime. Because Magic Online, just as a heads up. Yeah, sounds good. So we'll continue your thing into January then, as we get through them. All right, let's pop their hand out here. I do not see a Flamekin Zealot. So Flamekin Zealot, for those that aren't familiar, is a 2/2 that when it comes into play, it gives all your creatures 1/1 in haste which, along with Bridge from below and using Dread Return to sacrifice things, you like make a bunch of zombies and kill your opponent. But it looks like that might not be a thing. So, that being said, how many Cabal therapies do they flip over? So this is the first one. So it's 1 therapy, 2 therapies, 3 therapies. Do they have all 4 here? They have all 4 therapies, so I assume we're not going to have any spells in our hand after this is done resolving. Yeah, I said 9 hours of downtime. I saw an ad, might be time to re-up. What's going on, McBenny? Thanks for the half a year, welcome back. Slife, thanks for the biddies. Morning. So yeah, so I expect them to take every card out of my hand here. So we're going to need to draw Brainstorm next turn into both our combo pieces to not die. Which is possible, but unlikely. Yeah, Brainstorm is why you play the fetch lands. Not only Brainstorm, but also, like, Ponder and Preordain, too. So, like, or Ponder specifically. So with Ponder, there's a lot of times where you, like, cast a Ponder and want to take one of the 3 cards, and then you use the fetch land to shuffle the other 2 away. So they're gonna, yeah, take my Ponder, take my Preordain, and then we'll try and draw Brainstorm for the turn and get them. But if we don't, we'll be dead. Deck thinning is statistically insignificant. You don't play the statistical percentage you gain from deck thinning is not offset by, does not offset the amount of health that you lose by using fetch land. So deck thinning is not the reason you play. Yeah, Brainstorm into combo is the out here. So if we drew a Brainstorm for the turn, we could Brainstorm into Shoal plus thing to pitch and kill them. We did not, so we'll concede. Yeah, this matchup doesn't seem very good for us. I don't think the show and tell plan is good here. Like, putting Progenitus into play is not good enough. So we just have to try and race here. And, like, these Pact of Negations, like, don't really have text in this matchup. Do I just, like, cut the Pact of Negations for show and tells on the off chance that, like, putting Progenitus into play is good enough? Dizzy Drone, thanks for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Yeah, I think that's what I do. Like, the rest of these cards are not really good. I don't want to go on this full plan because I think killing them with oh, you know what I'm actually gonna do? I think I'm probably supposed to just do this and just cut. I think I'm actually supposed to go off the Cunning Wish plan because it's just not fast enough. Yeah, I'm going to do this, actually. I haven't done this before, but I think when we're just racing, like, the opponent's deck is, like, pretty consistent. So, like, the idea with Cunning Wish is that you can Cunning Wish for either of these things. And, like, that's pretty unlikely to be fast enough to happen. So we'll bring in Show and Tell to, like, randomly put Progenitus into play if we're lucky, but I think on average I'd rather just, like, have all my combo pieces in the deck. What's going on, Dizzy? Morning. Yeah, seems fine. Just needs a Blighted Agent or an Inkmoth Nexus. Any order shuffle, do the truffle shuffle, do 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 do, do 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 do, do 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 do. What? Distro of Linux Iron again. Ubuntu 1804. With either the Moksha or XFC desktops, depending on what I feel like using that day. Yeah, exactly, Punk. And like this deck has so many cantrips in it that once you get Omniscience into play, even if you don't have Enter the Infinite in your hand, you can usually cantrip into it by casting a bunch of free cantrips. It's a good name. I'd say it's probably like Force, Blazing Shoal, or Blighted Agent there on the blind therapy. I guess Brainstorm would probably be fair game too. Careful show and tell, they might put bridge into play. You're not wrong. That is technically a legal play. So next turn, we'll want to make sure we brainstorm before we play our land, so that way if we draw into Inkmoth Nexus, we can put that into play as our land drop for the turn to set up potential lethal for the following turn. Awkward. Not hitting another cantrip really sucks. Another 1 mana cantrip explicitly, I guess I should say. Impulse is technically a cantrip. Sorry, Impulse, to do you dirty. You are technically a cantrip. I appreciate you, Impulse. I appreciate you. There are some matches of Legacy where turn 3 Progenitus is fast enough. This is likely not one of them. Discarded Stinkweed plus Bridge. My sponsor, MTGO Traders, provides me with decks to play. Basic Island. If I draw an infect creature here, we'll jam that into play, but otherwise we're just going to go ahead and... Alrighty then. Alrighty then. This one. Go. They have a Cabal Therapy in the bin here, so if they hit a Narc, they can take some cards out of our hand. If they have a third land, they can flashback Faithless Looting next turn. Yep, there's an Archamoeba. They didn't hit a second Cabal Therapy at least here, so that means, depending on how their dredges go, we could maybe be able to kill them next turn through 1. Would it have been better to hide Impulse and Shoal? No, so you only want to hide cards like that if you don't have cards that you don't want to shuffle away, but like, I didn't need another land, and I didn't need a second Blazing Shoal. So, like, getting to shuffle those cards away is ideal. They added messages to mobile re-ups. I never have to open my desktop mode again. My life is complete. What's going on, Divik? Thanks for the 11 months. Welcome back. I appreciate everything you've done for Hoaglandia. Maybe we're lucky and they don't have a third land. If they don't have a third land and can't like, get flashback Faithless Looting to get stuff going here, we could be good. Oh, they also missed, They missed on hitting another Dredger, which is really good for us. So I assume we're going to lose Blazing Shoal here. Yep, makes sense. Actually, thinking about it, maybe they're supposed to take Progenitus, because Progenitus can come into play off of Show and Tell. So, like, I still have that available as a line to me. Alright, they have Colosseum. But again, they don't have a Dredger in the bin currently. They have another one mana looting effect. Or he's just flashing back. They're just flashing back looting here. Alright, so we can kill them next turn. We have a bunch of looks to find another Blazing Shoal. Impulse lets us see 4 cards. And if the first impulse misses but finds a land, we can impulse again. This is match 1, game 2. We're currently down a game against Dredge. So if we don't kill them this turn, we're likely dead next turn. And we're almost certainly not going to have a hand if we don't kill them. So, sweet. There's a Scalding Tarn. So, I actually, because I drew this other land, I think I actually want to crack both these fetches to start, because if I impulse and don't find a Blazing Shoal, I don't want to shuffle those cards back into my deck before I cast the second impulse. And this is kind of like the do or die turn, so I want to give myself the most possible chances to find a Blazing Shoal. So you get 8 looks at a Blazing Shoal here. I wonder what our odds are to hit on that. We missed. I'm going to take the Daze, because that could potentially stop a Cabal Therapy from happening, or a Dread Return. What's the Hyper Geo say? There are 45 cards in our deck. 45, 3, 8. We're 45% to find a Blazing Shoal there. So, a little bit less than a coin flip, and we missed. Put the re-up on 4-color loam. Sounds good, Nivek. Thanks for the support. I don't know about the Preordain versus the Impulse. We technically get 1 card deeper with the Impulse, but you're right, with the Preordain we can like have more redraws. So like if I take the Preordain, any Brainstorm, Ponder, Preordain, or the Sleight of Hand give us more redraws there. Maybe that is better. It's really unfortunate that they had a 4th land this game, because it means they're going to get to Cabal Therapy. They're going to take away my Progenitus, which means I'm really far away from killing them. They hit me for 4 here. The way this game has ended up playing out, I would have been better off if I would have just show and tell the Progenitus into play, but I think it's right to try and find the Blazing Shoal there. Yep. Really? Okay. Deal. They have another one in here that they're gonna flush back. This is one of the things that you get, like, the deck we're playing isn't really a stock legacy deck, so like people just like aren't familiar with the play patterns. So it wouldn't have mattered if they took the correct line, but because we ripped Progenitus, obviously, but I think they were definitely supposed to Cabal Therapy the Progenitus there. It's one of the two. It's half of the cards that kill them next turn, whereas Show and Tell doesn't do that. And again, just like, maybe the Cunning Wishes aren't too slow. I don't know. I feel like that game was like kind of the exception and not the rule. I think I'm happy with what I have here. Yeah, I think I'm happy with what I have here. Will this deck be terrible without Force Will? Against a small subset of decks, but not against everything. I mean, this deck works without Force. You have Daze and Pact of Negation to protect your combo. If you wanted to build it without Force for budget reasons, you definitely could. Just like play more cantrips. Just casually up 12 minutes on clock, by the way. For those that are keeping track, we're up 12 minutes on clock. Yeah, this hand's pretty good. It just needs an infect creature. Force of Will is actually pretty good against Dredge, because you can slow them down. It's not like amazing, it doesn't stop them from advancing their game plan forever, but it does slow them down to give us time to do our thing, which is nice. This deck is very cheap in relation to other legacy decks, and the blue fetches that I have in here could be anything too, right? Like, they're just like miscellaneous blue fetch lands. Like, you could play, I think Flooded Strands and Deltas are the cheapest fetches, but I don't actually know that for sure. So whichever blue fetches you have access to, you can just play those. Yeah, this deck's a mono blue deck. There's only fetch lands in it for the purpose of enabling your cantrips. What am I pitching? Is it Daze or is it a cantrip? I think it's Daze. The thing is, the Daze could be live next turn, though. I think it's the Daze. Hopefully their hand is like no lands, Faithless Looting. Like, the question I have to ask myself in that Force of Will pitch there is, like, what am I more interested in doing? Am I more interested in, like, having more cards to advance my game plan, or having more cards to slow down my opponent's game plan? So, these are just cantrips and a redundant combo piece, and, like, my deck is mono cantrip, so I'm just gonna shuffle looking for the combo piece I'm missing. So, we're looking for an infect creature at this point, an Inkmoth Nexus, or a Blighted Agent. So, like, if they have... Okay, so they have extra land. So, I'm happy I pitched the Daze here. Faithless Looting was a very good draw for them. Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure there's much we could do here. That's Cephalid Coliseum. When you have Threshold... It sacrifices to let you draw 3 cards and discard 3 cards. It's really good. Yeah, I'm gonna move along with our lives. Onward, upward, backward, forward. This hand doesn't accomplish a lot. Double Pact of Negation in the dark isn't necessarily good. I don't have any infect creature. I don't have Blazing Shoal. This is like kind of Blazing Shoal, but like I only have 1 cantrip. It's not even a particularly good cantrip. This hand needs a second land, but I'll keep a Brainstorm on top. Do I need to pay you via tip separately? It didn't ask for payment upon submission. Yeah, once you submit a deck using my Google form, you'll get an email back to the address that you listed in the submission saying, yes, I will play this deck with directions on how to send me money, or no, I'm not going to play this deck and this is why I'm not going to play it. So... people, you should not send me money until you get an email saying, yes, I will play your deck, because I don't take all decks that people send in. All right. All right. Delver's probably a bad matchup for us. Delver decks tend to eat up these spell-based combo decks. They have quick clock and they have a lot of disruption in them. Spell Pierces, Daze, Force, Flusterstorm, etc. Pyroblast. I would probably not have played the land. Nah, I think that's fine. Just like play Scared of Wasteland. Come Wasteland me. I just don't want to deal with like sending people's money back, Jackal Girl, if they sent in something especially atrocious that I'm not going to play. Is what it comes down to. I like to simplify my life. I'm just going to, so like, they tend to have so much disruption that I'm just going to fight over their threat here, because fighting over their threat buys me a lot of time on average. Nick Fit, Nivik. Is it control? I mean, control is never a good grind deck. Like, if your goal is to grind, playing control is, like, absurdly inefficient. Your matches that you play go very slowly. Is it a good deck in general? It's fine. In my experience playing a lot of blue-red control in this standard format, I think it's worse than just playing Jeskai almost all the time. Just because, like, the splash is pretty free. Like, the white cards add a lot of value. Thought Scour, interesting. Probably got a bunch of big fish. Looks like Grixis Delver. Yep. Maybe I'm supposed to daze this. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to daze this actually. Yeah, almost certainly a Wasteland deck. I mean, I've gotten wastelanded, but like, I have mixed feelings, chat. I'm not quite certain how I feel at the moment, but I've gone through ups and downs this morning. Opponent's hand is just like 7 wastelands, and it's not flipping this turn, right? Because if it flips this turn, it would have flipped last turn. Hopefully they file for comp. Their deck is obviously broken. Well, that's a big fish. All right, so the board plan when we turn into a show and tell deck is this. Got the Searing Winds, cut the Blazing Shoals, cut the Blighted Agents, board in show and tell, enter Omniscience. The idea being that sometimes we can just show and tell Progenitus into play and kill them that way, and other times we'll show and tell Omniscience into play and then go for a combo kill. Yeah, Legacy has a lot of great, like, the cantrips in Legacy go a long way to reducing a lot of the variance that Magic the Gathering has by design, but at the same time, cards like Wasteland are cards that increase the variance to a drastic amount, almost to a degree that it offsets a lot of the variance reduction that the cantrips play. If you look at MTG ELO project has a bunch of stats from professional play, and while the sample sizes for Legacy are smaller, so there's some gray area because of sample sizes. Like the average win rates of good Magic players playing Legacy at competitive and professional REL tournaments are very similar to the good win rates of players playing Standard, Modern, and Limited. So, I mean, trying to say that like the format's like lower variance than the other formats of Magic, I think is silly. But I think the more correct discipline is that the variance that occurs in Legacy comes in different places, is what it comes down to. What about the win rates of Legacy specialists? Asking the real questions. I specialize in Legacy. I think I have to mulligan this. Like, I don't have a Brainstorm to like recover for having this many lands. The Inkmoth Nexus isn't particularly good post board when I've gone off the Blazing Shoal plan. Like, don't have Show and Tell, don't have Progenitus, don't have Omniscience. Yeah, this hand is much better. I'm actually going to bottom this here because once you get Omniscience into play, our deck is so packed with cantrips that you're generally going to find one of your Enter the Infinites. So basically, I just want to dig very aggressively for Show and Tell. Hey, Techno Magus, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. I also would really like a Daze or a Force of Will so I can try and force through my Show and Tell when we draw it. Morning Under, thanks. Perfect. There's a Force of Will for later. I would like to cast Ponder. I'm gonna play the Misty Rainforest so they can't daze me off of this. Hey, Content, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome. I'm gonna Spell Pierce or Flusterstorm me. I guess they could Pyroblast me too. My Prime sub became available less than 10 minutes after you stopped yours. Well, thanks for shipping it this way this morning. Hope you're having a good Monday. Which Jeskai deck do I prefer, Maps or Azcanta? I think I personally prefer the Azcanta build. There's definitely an appeal to the other one though. Like being super proactive is nice to a degree. The map build just feels really clunky in the games where you don't draw map, because you just like have all these 6-drops in your deck was my issue with it. Dr. Peasy. Alright, Show and Tell, please. Inkmoth. Let's start with Preordain. Don't mind me, just tripping. You think Force could be played in a format like Modern without breaking the format? Nah, I don't really want to see Force in Modern. Morning, Suna. Hope you have a good birthday. Happy 21st. Don't do anything too stupid. Well, maybe you don't live in the United States. In the United States, people tend to do stupid things on their 21st birthday. There are a lot of other countries you can drink well before that legally. So if you're not familiar with my stream, the thing you need to be aware of is that the decks that I play on this stream is in no way representative of how I feel about decks or decks I like or dislike in the format. My stream is viewer-driven content, so basically the people that sub and donate and share bits, they dictate what we play and when we play it. So if I'm not playing a deck, that likely means people haven't wanted to see it, so we haven't played it. Or people that want to see it don't want to support my content to see it. Yeah, so I just go... So I want to stack this so the Force of Will ends up on top of my deck here. So I'm going to draw this, I'm going to play the land, and then next turn I can Omniscience with 2 up, or Show and Tell with 2 up, which means I can beat a Spell Pierce or a Flusterstorm. and I can force a force. They just thought scour me. Oh, they're thought scouring themselves, right? Yeah, they're targeting themselves. Whew! I was worried there for a second, chat. And like, obviously our opponent could have 2 counter spells and then we'll just concede, but this is definitely the best setup to go for it moment. Oh, Lurgrave. Not necessarily. So like in Legacy, you don't always want to keep all of your cards from a ponder. So like there's no guarantee that like I want both the cards on top of my deck there. So there's a chance we get like Blasted plus Forced or Force plus Flusterstorm, but this is my moment. We're gonna go for it. Or Spell Pierce plus Daze. Hey, Techno, thanks for the $30 tip. I appreciate it. Having some good success with this deck at the FNM level. Make sure, did you submit that through the thing? This is probably fine. That's probably fine. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. I'll get that added after the stream today. So I assume they have a Daze here as well. Either that, I guess they could theoretically just be doing that to like get the token into play. They could have a Daze or another Spell Pierce here. Yep, good game, opponent. One more match went away from having taken $12 and set it on fire. God, all hail Legacy Leagues. If I'm being completely honest, it isn't even just like the type of gameplay that shied me off of Legacy content. It's just more expensive for me to make Legacy content. And like, while... oh, perfect, Techno. Yeah, you're right. Super right. While people always pay for the decks to be played on stream, like, if I lose less money while people pay for modern decks, I just, like, lose less money overall. Just like, you know, if I played like a day of Legacy and like we don't cash a league, I like literally lose $60 on the day. Which, you know, that adds up pretty quickly. I think I'm actually just not going to ponder on one because the card I want's on top of my deck. Perfect, Techno. And yeah, if you make any more changes, you can just update that list in between submitting it today and when I play it. I'll just grab the latest list the day before I play it. Perfect. Yeah, so if you keep testing and tuning it, you're welcome to continue doing that. Encouraged even between now and when I play it. Force, pitching, predict. So it sounds like miracles. Blue's too good for me. Woof. Ding. I think I'm supposed to any order and just dig free. Dig free, Infector here. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's fine. Morning Frozen. Depends on if they have another 2 to set up on top of their deck. They don't have white mana yet, which is good for us. I suppose they could be some kind of weird counterbalance brew and not be miracles, but predict counterbalances usually means miracles. Did they shuffle? They did not shuffle. Okay. All right. Show me potato salad. Okie doke. There's a Daze on top of my deck, right? So because I know Daze on top of my deck, I would like to impulse past it. Because Daze is not a card I'd like to draw next turn. I'd like to draw a red card. A Progenitus or whatnot. It's not available on Magic Online. I don't know how the bot does it. $50, Mr. Poshia. All right, we'll take Preordain then, because that way if we draw an island, we get some redraws. Morning, Big Mama. There's a good chance there's a 1 on top of their deck, because they haven't flipped over a 2 yet. And they know the top card of their deck here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Unfortunate, but expected. Right? Like, they don't have a 2, like their deck is mostly 1s and 2s. Wouldn't be too surprised to get plowed here, get snap plowed, get ponder snap plowed. See if they unsummon here or brainstorm. Well, the fact that they brainstorm means we have a chance. Cantrips will likely be locked out from this J-Storm. Need to hope to just like hit a thing. Either a Cunning Wish or or one of our red cards that are big. I mean, they're almost always gonna have a 1-drop Dizzy Drone. And like there's no guarantee, like they could have a land on top of their deck. Not like here to not go for it. Like at this point, they're just going to have it every turn for the rest of the game. This is great. This is such a good comment. Oh, that's a thank you for the link, Hider. Let's give him a follow. That's good job, Clay. Clay's a good kid. I know. I no offense taken. Is like 6 mana Terminus, just like clear the Blighted Agent. As soon as this Blighted Agent leaves play, I'm conceding, so probably the idea of this deck is that game 1, we are a Blazing Shoal Infect combo deck. And then post-board, we're going to do what I'm about to do here, which is board out our combo and board in a different combo that doesn't use creatures to win the game. So the idea is that, like, my opponent will leave in copies of, like, Swords to Plowshares and like board in more creature removal. And then post board we'll be putting Omniscience into play and killing them with that. I think this is a fine keep in this matchup. So like this matchup isn't about going fast. It's about like having stuff to like push through their hate. Like almost every time we go for it the first time in a matchup like this, they're gonna have a disruption for us. So just like having lands to make our first few land drops is like very reasonable. And I'm not going to Brainstorm on one here because Brainstorm is a card where you want to have bad cards in your hand that you want to actively shuffle away, and I really don't hate any of the cards in my hand currently. So definitely just going to be like Island into Island Impulse on 2 here. I think I want to Impulse here just for the sake of mana efficiency. And then next turn I can just like cast a bunch of cantrips. Come at me. Yeah, like getting a Spell Pierce on my Impulse rather than a Show and Tell is just like a huge win for me. This is actually just like quite good for us. So depending on what their sequencing is here, I might wait a turn to go for the Show and Tell and Cunning Wish for Pact of Negation. Yeah, Land Nausea would probably be a deck I'd take for a larger donation again. Decks that I don't think I'm just going to accept like any legacy decks like I was once upon a time, but like things that I explicitly like and fond of, or like do really sweet things like, you know, Tin Fins or Pack Spanish Inquisition, stuff like that is probably fine. Black Red Reanimator. Things that basically decks that I know I can enjoy even when we're losing are like the goal. Jonesy, always take care of you first. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for the support. Glad to hear you're on the up and up. Yeah, there's like very little reason to jam into like obvious interaction here. Morning, Max. So the real question here becomes, okay, Flusterstorm, sure. I haven't shaved since I did the clean shave. And I'm not checking a bag going to the Invitational. So I just want to shave the morning before I leave for my flight. So I can just not worry about it. It's a lands ad nauseum. Goal, you'd love it, Goalie. It's a lands ad nauseum deck. It's kind of a hoot. Alright, so like 0% chance they have nothing here, right? So I should brainstorm to start. And like try and find a force or a pact here of my own. Daze is like not quite what I'm looking for. I'm actually just gonna throw it back. Here's my donation. Here is one in Jonesy's name. Thank you, Optipeak. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Cheers. This is iced tea. It's not Jack. I know iced tea often looks like Jack, and people just assume everybody who's drinking something on Twitch is an alcoholic, apparently. But everybody always comments that it's not Jack. It is unsweetened tea. Caffeine without calories, chat. It's great. Jack and unsweetened tea. Got it. Yeah, both together. Mix it up, Hogland. It's not Jack. That's exactly what someone who's drinking Jack at 8:30 in the morning would say. I heard about this land nauseum list recently. Get it in. Sounds good, Goalie. Thank you for the absurd support as always. Portent. So Portent, for people that aren't familiar with legacy cantrips, this is a cantrip that Miracles plays because drawing a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep is actually really good when you have Terminus in your deck. Just unsweetened pure leaf tea. So I put a Daze, another land on top of my deck that I'd prefer not to redraw this turn. Still going to try and be in Roanoke Saturday. Would you guys actually be playing the tournament by then? I've never went to a live event, so I have no idea how that works. Yeah, hopefully I'll still be playing a tournament then. So these are actually fantastic cards for us. So I'm going to go top here. And then at the end of their turn, I'm going to cast Cunning Wish to grab Pact of Negation. And then we can untap and play Show and Tell, hopefully with Omniscience. And get our stuff going on here. I'm like, the opponent needs to bust a move here at some point, right? Like, they don't have us under pressure. And like, this is one of the big things about this deck when you're playing against decks like what my opponent's playing, is that the onus is on the opponent to kill us, right? Play around Predict. No new guy. Not Portent, Predict is the one you're thinking of. But yeah, that's a thing people do. Yeah, hopefully, definitely pick, Goalie, if you should pop in the subs Discord, Goalie, because that goes to my phone, and we've got a channel in there talking about people that are coordinating, doing dinner or something at the Invitational with subs. God, that force is so good for us. They keep countering our Cunning Wishes. Please be out of counterspells. Please be out of counterspells. Please be out of counterspells. They're never out of counterspells, chat. They're never out of counterspells. Do I brainstorm in response? I'm probably supposed to brainstorm in response, huh? There's forces in my deck. Yep. All right. LOL. They pitched a force there, right? Sweet. Yeah. So they are. They've gone through 3 forces. The problem is now that they have 2 mana up this turn, they have access to actual factual counterspell, which gives them even more disruption. Yeah, so like this turn, I can play the next Inkmoth, cast Show and Tell. After they counter the Show and Tell, like start pressuring the Jace with the Inkmoth Nexus, like forcing it to start Fate Sealing as opposed to Brainstorming, which is a win for us. They still need like a Monastery Mentor or Vendilion Clique or something. Gideon. That definitely qualifies under the or something category. This card's very good. Alright, counterspell me, baby. We did it, we did it, we did it, hooray! So the Searing Winds that pitch to our Blazing Shoals are also lethal when you cast them off of Omniscience. Pew pew. Yes, yeah, running through wine is way better than a VM. You don't have to have run windows on top of it. Is it Legacy all day? Nope. As the stream title implies, we're going to be playing Modern after this. We're just doing a Legacy League to kick off. And I'm not changing my board plan. I'm pretty happy with this board plan. Actually, maybe I'm going to bring in another Pact and trim this Daze. Daze has pretty diminishing returns pretty quickly in this matchup. Yeah, okay, I'm actually going to do that. Yeah, let's do it. More free counter spells. The Land Nauseam deck is a hoot. Yeah. And goalie just cheered a pile of bits to put that one in the queue, so we'll get back to that one soon enough. It's going all right. We got Legacy in the first two. We're going to game 3 here against Miracles. See if we can maybe scrap our 0-2 back into a 3-2. I think Land Nauseam could be competitive. Yeah, we 4-1'd a bunch of leagues with it, and a couple other people posted 5-0 results with it. It's like fine. It's like no Brainstorm, Ponder, Force of Will deck, but like it's got tools. It plays really cute games of Magic. Yeah, it's got like this turbo depths plan that like also just like randomly draws its deck and kills you as a storm deck sometimes. So that's Vintage. So that's the big difference between Vintage and Legacy, is that Vintage is basically Legacy, but with most of the banned cards that aren't anti-restricted instead of banned. There's a Searing Wind in the main deck. So that was a post-board game we just played. We lost game 1. Yeah, this hand's fine. Land drops, cantrips, one of our combo pieces. Set me up. Just submit it. Submit any build-around deck ideas using the form, Greg, and then just put in the notes what the build-around would be and what any conditions you would like to see for it. And then I'll get back to you via email. I think I want to start with Ponder before Preordain. We're looking for Omniscience at this point. And again, like, these aren't cantrips or the cards I'm looking for, so we're just going to shuffle. Pact of Negation's a good one. Means when we go for it, we're really going to get to go for it. Okay, that's an enter. Let's start with Brainstorm here. We did on Brainstorm before we cracked the fetch land. Well, ain't that the stone cold nuts? Huh. Just gonna pass the turn here, and then next turn we get to cast Show and Tell with Pact plus Force of Will back up. I don't currently know, new guy. It's been a while since we've played. We haven't done a ton of legacy stuff since I moved to doing content full time. Man, I'm about to get flusterstormed, aren't I? Do I wait a second and play around Flusterstorm? Yeah, I'm just like not in a rush. Like I know like we're playing like I know we like go for it a lot, but like in Modern we go for it because it's often right to go for it. And here there's just no reason to go for it, right? Like if they draw another land, that's actually kind of good for us. The only thing we get punished for by waiting is if they hit second blue source and have double Flusterstorm. So here's the problem with Flusterstorm. So if they Flusterstorm, I could force plus Pact. But then if they have Force of Will on top of Flusterstorm, then I lose the game to my Pact of Negation. And like, they have no pressure, they have no land drops, I'm in no rush. Yeah, they're Brainstorm locked, right? So like, they definitely draw a brick this turn, and then next turn... Next turn they get to draw a random. And again, like, when you talk about, like, are we going for it or are we not? It generally comes down to, like, what's the risk versus reward, right? Like, is there something pressuring us into needing to go for it, or can we afford to wait? So I lose to double force, double blue card here, but I think I'm okay with that. Because if they have another force, they force the Show and Tell, and then I lose to my Pact of Negation next turn. I guess I technically lose to Snapcaster Wear Tear too, huh? GG WP. Look at that on the scoreboard. Don't mind me, just scrolling my hand. Continue. We won this match of Legacy with this standard legal Magic the Gathering card. Y'all move, Yugi boy. I guess technically Searing Wind won the game. Technically Searing Wind won the game. That card's not standard legal. Yeah, there was a Swords in their bin, so they technically could have, like, plowed their snap to go to 21, but then I just would have cast Progenitus, and then Progenitus would have killed them the following turn, because I just had, like, a pile of... Oh, I would have died to my Pact of Negation. Holy crap, they could have won. They could have... If they would have plowed their Snapcaster Mage, they would have gone to 1, and we would have lost to our Pact of Negation the following turn. No, they could have plowed in response to the Enter the Infinite. They could have plowed in response to the Enter the Infinite. Yeah. Yeah, they could have Snapcaster targeted plow and then gone to 21. I couldn't, chat. My hand was Enter the Infinite cantrip. So like they just do it in response to the Enter the Infinite. What's going on, Matt dude? Thanks for the 2 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. hand's like technically fine, right? It's like, yep. Hand's great. Force, blue card, 3 combo pieces. Let's go. Let's go. Alrighty. Alrighty. If you're someone that plays Legacy on occasion and wants to get in on a budget, this deck's a great budget deck. The fetch lands can be any blue fetch lands, and this deck is functional, although it is worse without Force of Will. So instead of the forces, you can just play like the 4th Daze, another cantrip, and some spell pierces or something like that. It's reasonably competitive. It gets got sometimes, but it does a lot of getting got too. This is the Hoglandia I had listed for. Get up with the sweet comments going on, Pokemon Nerd. Thanks for the 9 months. Welcome back. Me too, Marty. Me too. I think my favorite transformational deck of all time is during KTK Standard. I played a... That was the perfect draw. During KTK Standard, SCTR, thank you for gifting a tier 3 sub to Side Flop. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. You've been truly absurd. Loads up Jeff's stream for the morning and sees Searing Wind. What's going on? Been working on Golgari Depths, and I have a playable 6-stage seed set of Dark Depths. Alright, so they missed their land drop last turn. The only thing that punishes us not forcing here is if they have a Daze, or if they have a Wasteland. And if they had Wasteland, they probably would have played it last turn. So I'm just going to let this... I would have fought over this Daze if we hadn't drawn the Inkmoth, but because I drew the Inkmoth, I can just let this happen. Morning, Evars. All right, so they should be dead here. Worth noting, and this is actually important to note, Preordain likely indicates our opponent is also playing a combo deck. Although Daze is interesting. I wonder if they're playing Show and Tell with Daze in it. Sneak and Show has occasionally played Daze. I want to hear the KTK. So, sorry. My favorite transformational deck I've ever played, I actually won a 300-player 5K with it. It was Mardu Aggro Game 1 with 4 Outpost Siege in the main deck. And then post-board, the deck turned into, it boarded in a 25th land, Elspeth, Sun's Champion, and 5-mana Wrath of Gods. So, like, post-board, people would have things like a Ration Cleric in their deck against you, and you'd be like, that's sweet, play my 6-mana Planeswalker. This could theoretically be the mirror. So that's definitely my favorite transformational deck I've played in recent memory. That's a few years ago at this point. So I think against an opposing combo deck, I want to stay on the Infect plan. You turn into the Show and Tell Omniscience Enter the Infinite plan against decks that tend to be more fair. And I think my opponent's playing a combo deck at the moment. I don't know for certain, but I think that's what they're doing. I'm going to go ahead and click submit. It was a turn 3 kill, Kaysen. Thank you very much. Sure. We got 2 shots to kill them on turn 2 here. Turn 1 Inkmoth, turn 2 draw Progenitus, pitch Progenitus, kill you. I have 400 bits for some reason. Zesty, thank you for the biddies. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Have a good move, Jonesy. I am excited to move into our new house next year, but I'm not excited about packing up everything here. Hopefully I can convince Christy to throw away a bunch of crap that we don't need. Stuff just kind of stacks up And it's just like, we probably don't need a lot of this stuff. Yeah, we could, but like, I think I'd like to try and get rid of a bunch of it. Like, we have a storage room in this house, just as a bunch of crap that we haven't touched in a long time that we're hopefully going to mostly get rid of. Yeah, I agree, Var. Alright, so probably Storm. Duress signifies Storm usually, although Daze is weird in Storm. They dazed us game 1. So this game, without seeing anything from game 1, I would think they're definitely Storm. But Daze is one of those, well, they're likely Storm, but Daze is weird. Keeping bulk is worthwhile. So like, fun story, when I went to the last open I went to, the Columbus Open, I like dug out a box of, I have a box of just like, they're like modern playable cards that are oh baby, don't daze me, bro, don't daze me, don't do it, don't do it. Yeah, legacy. All right, got him. Alrighty then, onward, upward, backward, forward. That's what we like to call the nut draw in the biz chat. That's what we like to call the nut draw. Just, you know, get him. For anybody that was wondering, that's why this card's banned in Modern. That's why. That right there is why this card's banned in Modern, for anybody that wasn't playing Magic then. Alright. So, just a reminder that Magic Online in no way resembles online gambling, but if we win this next match, I win $15, and if we lose this next match, I get nothing. But remember, not online gambling. This is a tough one. So, like, I technically have Searing Wind, and this gets the Blazing Shoal out of my sideboard. And, like, I have Force in these, but, like, I only have one land. So, like, my cantrip needs to find lands and an infect creature. I think I'm going to keep this on the draw just because the range of decks that Force of Will is good against in Legacy is, like, pretty wide. Yeah, Legacy doesn't have friendly leagues. Legacy only has competitive leagues. Morning, Gundam. Oh, sorry, bulk at the last open. So, when I sold all my paper Magic cards, I kept a box of basically bulk at the time, but they were all modern playable. And then this most recent open, before the open, I like went through that box of bulk and like looked up the buy list on a bunch of stuff and ended up turning what was previously a box of bulk into like $200 cash. I'd like my sword now. Good morning, Anner. Hope you're having a good Monday. Can you, I will note, bring to Kiki, can you DM me on Twitter your preferred list? I'd be happy to get that added. Yeah, I don't really care about Expedition Map. So the icons often change before Oh, I wonder if they have like Maze of Ith or something silly. We could get in trouble with this. Cloud Post doesn't usually play that card, at least main deck, I don't think. I don't know. It's been a while since I've looked at a Legacy Post list. So if we draw a land next turn, I can Cunning Wish for Blazing Shoal and kill them. Perfect, Danner. Thank you. Yep. Yep. So I can force this turn, but I don't want to Daze because I want to be able to draw a land to get Blazing Shoal. If I don't... No, I shuffled this turn, JMM. I cracked Scalding Tarn. So the top of my deck is random right now. And if I don't draw the land, I can Preordain into either another cantrip or the Blazing Shoal that's just in our deck. I agree, Bad Tinker. The list on Goldfish has 3 Maze in the main, Lordy. That's good for us. That's a not Maze of Ith land drop. Yeah, Glacial Chasm's another thing they do sometimes too. Yeah, Manamorphose got bought out by the MTG Finance Cartel after it didn't get reprinted. Yeah, I believe Chasm just prevents damage. So that was not the land I wanted. It might be greedy to bottom that Inkmoth, but I really want to try and hit Blazing Shoal this turn. That's unfortunate. So this gives them another turn to do scary things. They're going to Pithing Needle my Inkmoth. Yeah, I think we're done here. That being said, the Omniscience plan is going to be real good in this matchup. Should have just Pact of Negated this Pithing Needle. Is it possible to build a Legacy deck around Patron Wizard? It depends. Do you want to win games of Magic? Yeah, so we had a land drop to win the game last turn, and then we had redraws and a Blazing Shoal to win the game. Just didn't get there. All right, let's swap some of this out here. Pact of Negation is terrible against what the opponent has going on. Pact of Negation is for counter spells. It's been 1 year since I top-aided a Hex Bash with $20 candles. Well, I'm kind of sad that Hex died. Demented Whispers died with it. What's going on, Mage? Thanks for the 12 months. Welcome back. The Pithing Needle locked out our Inkmoth Nexus, and they had Maze of Ith to lock out our Blighted Agents. We're just incredibly unlikely to be able to win the game from there. No, I haven't touched Turbo Depths in a while, or Oriental. I would recommend just deferring to who's ever played the list more recently than me. Yeah, that's fair. One of the reasons why Hex was nice was because it was like very close to Magic, but a nice digital client, and like Arena is a nice digital client for Magic, which is great. So this is also a matchup where just show and telling in Progenitus should be very good to win us a lot of the games, so. Thanks everyone for hanging out this morning. Got over 600 people already. We're gonna be shifting to Modern after this last match of this Legacy League is done. We've got Jeskai Saheeli combo to start the day, I believe. I was listening to you talk about transformational sideboards. Are you still opposed to 1,000-Year Storm on Arena? Yeah, I am, Original Eddie. It just times out too often. I don't want to get frustrated with the client because it's nonsense. Like, basically, I watched other people play. Like, people are saying, like, Newmont and Nox have been playing it. And, like, when they're playing it, they're just, like, playing at a breakneck speed. It just, like, isn't fun. Sure. Some of the time you just, like, put Omniscience into play and kill them that turn. Opponent taking their good sweet time to sideboard. I guess. Saying like just needs a show and tell, right? To like put this into play. That's probably why they took so long. They're trying to figure out what to cut and decided against it. Bottoms up. We're gonna get new artifact content anytime soon. Probably not till after the Invitational. Since I'm taking 5 days off of streaming to go to the Invitational, I need to get as much Magic content in between now and then as I can. I've been enjoying playing Artifact personally, but the content's just like not popular enough to constitute it being work. Artwork is so great. So many of the Magic Online originals, like, all have such fantastic art. I'm gonna Impulse first here, but I'm probably gonna Daze this Expedition map, because Daze has pretty diminishing returns as the game goes on. The prizes were actually really absurd, Jekyll Girl. The total tournament was a case of UMA plus $2,000 in cash. So top 4 split prizes. So I got $300 plus a box. So do I Daze this or do I just show and tell? I'm just gonna show and tell next turn. Am I? What are the odds I lose to a giant squid, Billy? Like, good? Like, they're at 21 too. I'm a liar. I'm actually just gonna cantrip a bunch here. Oh my god! Oh my fucking god. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I tried to resolve that like Preordain, and I right-clicked on the Scalding Tarn to put it on the bottom of my deck, and it drew it. So I just cast Preordain, and Preordain you right-click and choose where the cards go, but that wasn't a Preordain, it was a Sleight of Hand, and I right-clicked on Scalding Tarn because I wanted to put it on the bottom, and obviously I wanted the Omniscience. That was the card I've been cantripping for. And that's a $15 misclick, which is, again, one of the reasons why I stopped playing Legacy on Magic Online, because it's really expensive to make misclicks, because this application is online gambling. Yep. All right. That's fine. That's fine. I have them dead in 2. So I get to Cunning Wish for Intuition, and then I can Intuition for my 3 copies of Omniscience and Show and Tell it into play. I mean, it's not really Magic Online's fault. I messed up. It's just frustrating because it's an expensive mess up because it's expensive to play Legacy online. I'm not mad at Magic Online. I'm upset with myself. I mean, I'm annoyed that it's going to be an expensive mess up. We're going to get, like, Thought Not Seared next turn and lose our thing. So double show and tell here means that if they Thought Not Seer us this turn, there's potential that they might take the Progenitus and leave us the show and tell, and then we just Intuition for... I'm fetching in response here because I don't want them to Pithing Needle my Scalding Tarn. Thanks, Marty. You're the best. 320. Oh, Marty is the sub Santa. Oh, do they have nothing? Smells like they have nothing. That is not a small number. You're not wrong. So this is why we play 3 copies of both Omniscience and Enter the Infinite in our sideboard, so you can Demonic Tutor for it with Intuition. Fun fact, Intuition was originally supposed to be templated like Gifts Ungiven, but the final printing was forgotten. They forgot to put the word different in it, so it's actually just Demonic Tutor if you have 3 of a copy of a card in your deck. Is Warping Whale a thing? Sometimes. So Gifts Ungiven is like a fixed version of it, basically. Am I getting K-gripped? There's a Blighted Agent in here somewhere, right? I think I left one in my deck. Yeah. Yeah, I guess they are at 24 as well, huh? So I can't just Searing Wind them. That's a good point. They probably brought in K-Grip for Inkmoth Nexus. Get Blazing Shoal. Blazing Shoal. This is a weird game. We are currently playing Infect. Alright, so our really terrible misclick didn't lose us the game. Is the fact that they gain life mean I should have more Blighted Agents? Should I have more Blighted Agents in my deck? Sleight of Hand betrayed us. Send it to the Shadow Realm. I'm actually just gonna cut all these Dazes. Yeah, especially on the draw, they have pretty diminishing returns against what the opponent's doing. Did someone really just donate $1,600 worth of subs? Well, not just now, but the Marty's done 320 subs total. So, like, over the last few months. Marty, we don't call Marty Sub Santa for no reason. Diminishing returns. Rob Banks. He's Sub Santa. He delivers sub gifts all over the world. Obviously. Come on, opponent. Why you have to be so slow, opponent? Marty, he's making a list, he's checking it twice, he's donating subs cause he's nice. Marty Claus is coming to town. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I don't know when you're sleeping. Please don't get creeped out. All right, so looking for show and tell. Huh. I think I'm supposed to shuffle these. It's like I just need show and tell, right? And like I kind of want more lands too. Like I need a third land as well. And like these cards are neither lands nor show and tell. We know when Jeff's sleeping, 'cause that's the only time he's not streaming Magic. You're close. It's not that far off of the truth. So if they don't find a way to interact with this Inkmoth Nexus, we could theoretically have them dead in 2 turns. Our turn 3 could be Cunning Wish for Blazing Shoal, and then go for a Shoal kill the following turn. This could also be getting something like Maze of Ith, though. Or they could have something like Corrosive Grip to make that a bad plan. Yeah, there's the Maze. That's fine. They probably have to play Maze as their land drop this turn, right? Nope, not anymore. I think I just let this happen. Hasn't been too bad. We're 2-2. We're in game 3 of the 5th match. To set a bar that's low, I've played worse leagues. Extra force, definitely better than extra lands. Hey, E-Teach Ward, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome, welcome. So do I want to Brainstorm here, or do I just want to Cunning Wish for Intuition again? I think I want to Brainstorm. My hand's pretty bad. I think I just throw 2 lands back here. I guess Progenitus isn't particularly good. Pitches to Force. Yeah, most of our deck pitches to Force. Extra Enter the Infinite is definitely Force fodder here. We'll crack the fetch and impulse at end of turn. We're looking to find show and tell plus Omniscience. What did we lose to? We lost to Delver and something else. Oh, Dredge. Dredge and Delver. So I'm supposed to take Omniscience here because there are 4 copies of Show and Tell in my deck and only 3 copies of Omniscience. What's going on, E-Teach? Sure. So this Intuition is going to go get Show and Tell for us. Then we'll Show and Tell Omniscience, Touch the Infinite, then hopefully kill our opponent. Ideally, we want our opponent to tap off of K-Grip this turn. There's a deck list on your screen. Alternatively, you can type !deck in chat to get a direct link to the deck list. So this is 4. Then they can untap, leaving 2, and that's 6. They can make up to 8 mana this turn. Peace, Far Shadows. Ideally, I don't want to hardcast Force this turn, so I want to Intuition for Show and Tells. They could have K-Grip here. K-Grip prevents us from winning the game next turn, but it leaves us in a spot to win the following turn. Which is fine. Oh yeah, that's true actually. We're gonna go up to 6 lands. So they have to have double K-Grip, right? And I wanna fetch out these lands before I cast the Show and Tell. If they put, okay, so here's how they win. If they put a Glimmer Post into play and have a K-Grip, the trigger means that I won't get a chance to use the Omniscience. Stop it. Hopefully that's their only interaction. Rude. Here's, for those of you that are new to Legacy or haven't interacted with Trinisphere before, the answer to any of your questions for how does Trinisphere work with X is Trinisphere always wins. That's the TLDR. Trinisphere always wins. Regardless of what the specific situation is, Trinisphere always wins. Yeah, we kill them next turn if they don't take the Omniscience off the table, because there's a Echoing Truth in our sideboard, so I Cunning Wish for 3, and then Echoing Truth pick this up for 3, and then kill them. Does your question end with it costing less than 3? Now it costs 3. Yep. But what if you have no? Always. I guess, technically speaking, you can play a Delve card by only tapping 1 land while Trinisphere's out because magic. Because magic. They kind of beat it. You're technically still paying 3 for those things. Yeah, this is the last game of the last match of this league, and I'll be shifting to Modern for the rest of the day. This has been a long league. It's almost 2 hours. We are 2-2, and this is game 3. Oh, come on. Kill my Omniscience or let me win the game. Pick one. Oh Moto, oh Moto, do 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 do. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could technically start the Modern League because I have a Modern deck checked out already. Man, I've not missed competitive leagues. This might be Assault Concede. If we win this game, we're 3-2. Maybe their internet just disconnected. Maybe their doorbell rang. Maybe their cat knocked something over. Who knows? Maybe they were just counting. They have infinite mana this turn. So like their last card in Emrakul. If their last card's in Emrakul, I lose the game. Ulamog is also kind of bad for me. Yeah, Omni. It's neat. So, like, of course, their last card is the card that kills us after we had to sit here and wait 5 minutes. That's just how this goes. They have Trinisphere, though, so I lose the game. NW Austin, thank you very much for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. So they go down to 8 mana. Then they go back up to 18. So they have 18 mana this turn. I don't really care if I win or lose. I just want the game to be over because we've been sitting here for forever. So, like, please kill me or let me win the game. One of the two. Just please make me stop sitting here, opponent. That's all I want out of life. Like, if I'm dead, great. Just let me move on. I think it's Ulamog. Not Ulamog. Got it. Yeah, people who want the Magic Online clock and arena are people that are just terrified of change. That's actually one of my favorite things about Artifact. Artifact has the best clock system in any digital card game I've ever played. It's very, very good. They actually have enough mana to cast Ulamog here as well. Sure. Like, again, like, whatever, like, they had the Stone Cold Perfects. Like, the annoying part is that, like, they took 8 minutes to do that. So, our online gambling lost us $12. Legacies. I don't really have anything constructive or useful to say. I'm just a little annoyed that it took all that time. The Artifact Clock. So the Artifact Clock is a chess clock where you start with a very small amount of time, and then as you take more game actions, your chess clock goes up. But you also just can't do like what my opponent did there and take forever on one decision. Each individual decision you make has a finite amount of time you can make on it. So like, even if your clock has 6 minutes left on it, you can't spend 5.5 minutes making one choice. You have to like take an action or it pushes you through. It's a very, very good balance between actually getting punished for using too much time and not getting to tank on long decisions. So it's the best clock system I've ever seen.